Pearl River, before I went to UL Lafayette, none of the fields looked like this. Okay, so being here, we want to start painting pictures for all of the athletes of what they can become. But before we get things started, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the first guy that's going to come out. The parents, you guys need to look into to know. The players, a lot of times you think as we get older, we don't know anything. But the first guy's been working with me almost 20 years. He's been a Division I coach for about 20 years at UL Monroe, Northwestern State, Sam Houston, Troy, Western Kentucky, and the amount of experience that he brings to this game is unbelievable. But the only way you're going to get it is to take the time to learn him. Parents dive in. It's not always the new. It's what people have been through and their experiences that can actually help you, because he too was an athlete like you. So I'm fortunate to have him. I'm going to bring him out. His name is Jerry Martinez. He's going to talk to you guys a little bit from a different perspective.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jerry Martinez, and I'm going to speak to you briefly today about maybe having a different perspective, or through a different lens that I wear than most anybody here. Number one, I'm probably the oldest guy here. I'm a couple months away from being 70. I don't talk a lot anymore. Been married for 37 years, wonderful wife, have 6 kids, 4 grandchildren. I don't have a lot of words left. But I wanted to take today, especially, I've never spoken here at one of our spring trainings. I wanted to share a story with you. And it was the moment in which I locked in to the narrative, to the rhetoric, which was different than what I had heard when I got started in this industry back in 2007. I'd been out of college coaching for a few years, did not want to coach the high school level. Okay, my wife's been a teacher for 30 years, love it, everything's good. But I did not want to teach and coach at the high school level. So got into the academy business. I became a guru like everybody else. I met James in 2009 or 2010 as a result of, for lack of a better term, a corporate takeover that was taking place in Lafayette. I was working at Sandlot, and James, unbeknownst to me, was friends with Tony Robichaux, who I'd competed against and had the deepest respect for many years. James came to me, came to the company, and said, look, we're getting ready to bring you down. We're starting an academy. Just wanted to let you know it. I happen to be the sole survivor of that takeover. I got to go do lessons at the academy that James was the liaison with Tony. Okay, so that's how I meet James 15 some odd years ago. At that time, I am running a small program called the Louisiana Legends, which I inherited from another guy. That we had 2 teams. The market, the industry was very different then. The average player didn't have the same opportunity that he does now. Those programs were run with only the very best players in the state of Louisiana. We decided the moment that I locked in, because I'd known James for a few years, we were doing stuff together, but we weren't locked in. We went on a meeting. We went to a Chinese restaurant in Hammond, Louisiana, to meet with a mutual friend of ours, Jack Crescent, who was running the Louisiana Knights. Now, you got to remember now, this is in the infant stages of what you are now a part of. So the genesis of what is now United was created that day in that meeting. And that meeting was simply to get the 2 programs together for one weekend, quit messing around, let's just go win World Woodbine. That was the objective. So the Knights and the Legends joined forces for a summer, and let's quit messing around, go win it, and then go about our ways and do other stuff. Okay. that almost happened. We played for a couple of weeks. We went to World Woodbat. We went through the initial round of 7 games, pounded everybody. You got to remember now, giving you some perspective on this, some context. Every single player on that 18-man roster ended up at a major Division I, and I would say half were drafted at least. I'm going to speed up. What clicked for me, though, was the moment that we got a phone call from James. We had 2 arms, 2 pitchers. Both of them had been committed to UL. We had sort of made an arrangement that those 2 arms had thrown a lot during the summer, and that their one outing was their one outing. And that was it. So it eliminated the best 2 arms we had, who ultimately became all-conference, and both of them were drafted. We brought those players home, and there was another incident that was connected to it. And I realized at that moment that a philosophy and an ideology that I had lived with my entire life, which was very different than the norm, was that if you do what is in the best interest of each individual player, you will never make the wrong decision. And some people will say, well, golly, that doesn't make a lot of sense. What about the team? The team will take care of itself. So we're going to make a decision about the player that is in the best interest of that player in lieu of sacrificing some opportunity that really doesn't have any value. What would it have mattered if we had won World Woodbat? Everybody's going to go home and get a cheeseburger and call a girlfriend. Nothing's going to change. But because of that moment, I then was brought into someone who shared what I thought was the most important thing, which I did not see in this industry. I don't see it very often anywhere, except at the pro level. I hear all the time, well, I have to take this guy because he's the best player and he can play second base, and I'm going to move this guy out here. Wait a minute, whoa. That's the best player on your team. Why are we working around the best player on the team? Do what's best for him, because he's going to do what? He's going to carry everybody else. First time I'd heard it. First time I'd ever heard it in this industry. And so I then knew that, okay, this is a guy who speaks a truth that this industry does not want to hear. I shared that value. Thus, I've been hanging around. They've been giving me stuff to do for 15 years. And I appreciate it. So I'm simply speaking tonight to you to let you know that you could not be in a better place and with a better group, because that ideology is the truth, amongst other things. We are not interested in how many games you win during the summer. We are interested in you developing, that you're getting the opportunity to play, and thus all this experience that you see has the ability to evaluate you accurately, so that if you choose to pursue baseball beyond high school, and there are some of you here that I know have played beyond high school and have experience, you know that this is the truth. If you choose to, that you could not be with a better group, because that is the mission. Yes, we want you to develop. Yes, I hope that you have the opportunity to work with a guy who can teach you to throw your fastball to glove side if you're a right-hander. Because if you can consistently throw your fastball to glove side, guess what? It opens up the whole plate. It's easier to go in, it's easier to go up. Awesome. I hope that you experience someone that knows when to pull you. I hope that you experience someone that knows the difference between the right time to hit and run or bunt. All those are important. But what is equally important, and this is what I've learned, what is potentially more important to you is the business of baseball. that side of the game that has nothing to do with what's going on right here. That side of the game that has the ability to take an average player, an average high school player, and find opportunity. It's easy to find a player with 3 or 4 tools. 2 tools is easy. But what about the majority of us that don't have that? Let me explain to you, I'm going to end. The reason why I feel I'm not asking for your trust, you've given me your attention, and it's greatly appreciated. My life experience has gotten me here to think the way I do because potentially more than anyone else here, my life experiences have led me there. And that is, I was recruited in 2 sports out of high school, Division I level. I coached for 19 years. And more importantly, 5 of my 6 children have been recruited. 3 athletes and 2 cheer dance. And yes, there is a selection process in cheer and dance. So I have seen this process, this journey that you have become a part of United from every pair of glasses you can possibly have. Does it make me smart? I've just been hanging around a long time. I appreciate your time, and God bless.
All right, guys, I'm going to bring out another guy that, funny story, he probably won't get too much into it, but at the end of his college career, I gave him a phone call and told him we needed a pitcher in Pensacola, Florida, because you see, I started that franchise. Now it's the Blue Wahoos. I sold it. But on a night, the team needed a player. I had gotten his name, and he was coming out of college. And I know he was excited when I talked to him. He just didn't know that I was going to tell him he had to arrive tomorrow. Okay, well, that start for him, and he may go through some of this, the start for him, because he threw the next day, probably wasn't his best outing. But, I don't know, 3rd, 4th hitter, he hit him. They charged him out. He became a guy. He ended up playing 9 years professionally all over the country, all over the world. And then we reconnected because he went from playing into being a college coach. We reconnected. Some players got sent there. They did well. But I learned a lot about him as a person. He was in leadership of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He was a quality person. He, too, wanted to help people advance. So it got to a certain point in his career where I said I'd love for him to come and work with us. And I've been fortunate for the last 4 or 5 years that he's become a regional director with our company, not just in United Baseball, but with the Global Scouting Bureau. He takes international trips. We recruit players professionally, collegiately. So I'd like to welcome and let you guys meet Nick Singleton.
Thank you, James. That was the first time I got to hear the story from Jerry, and I always like hearing stories from Jerry because he does have another perspective or a different perspective, especially different from my perspective. He's got a few years on me. I think I'm catching up with him though, and that kind of segues into a little bit of what I'm going to talk about tonight, which is perspective, which is driven by the experiences that you have. That's directly tied to baseball because you guys are baseball players, and I'm going to tell you why baseball is going to be one of the most important things you'll ever do in your life, regardless if you don't play after high school, don't play after college. But one of the questions I want to ask you guys tonight is, what's your why? What is your why? Now, the answer to that question is not as important as actually having an answer. You know, if I ask some of you guys right now, what's your why? Just one-on-one, if we talked about it, you're probably going to pause and think, you know, when I say, what's your why are you here tonight? You know, why are you playing baseball? What's in it for you? You know, are you playing baseball because it's cool to play baseball and it makes you more popular in high school, or you think that's the way you're going to pay for the rest of your life. Make it to the big leagues, sign $1 million contracts, buy fancy houses, clothes, cars, buy a house for your parents. You know, those are a lot of things that go through a lot of baseball players' minds at a young age. But what's going to happen is the older you get, your why is going to change because of the experiences you have. Now, I typically bounce around a lot when I talk. A lot of you guys, maybe parents, have had conversations with me on the phone, and my ADHD will kick in, or ADHD will kick in. So I got to put a little notes down to keep me on track over here. So when I say, what's your why, I want you to think about that this weekend. Just think about it all weekend. What is your why? Why are you here? What motivates you? What are your goals? Identifying those things are going to streamline your opportunity for success. They will. Look at yourself in the mirror every morning. Remind yourself what your why is. One day it's going to change because you keep reminding yourself. But every time you remind yourself, you end up being that guy that I see at a hotel on my way over here, and I'm like, hey, where are you going? Well, I'm going back to the field to get some extra swings before this event tonight. I remember those things. All coaches remember those things. I'm going to tell you my why. My why is baseball. Now, I'm not a player anymore. I haven't played since 2012. I was a pitcher, tore my UCL, shut it down, never went back. My why is baseball, but it's not as a player, and I don't enjoy watching baseball as much as I enjoy playing it. But what I do enjoy is seeing other people succeed, because you see what happened is I got out of the industry of baseball and I got into corporate America, got into sales. I was pretty good at it. I didn't like it though. It wasn't fun to me. The only thing I liked about it was the financial side of it. The better I did, the more money I made. But that was kind of the same in baseball when I was playing professional baseball. The better I played, the better opportunities came my way. The financial opportunities continue to go up until one day it's over, and it's going to be over for everybody that plays. So that's why I was asking you why. My why, when it comes to baseball, is the relationships that are going to be a part of your life forever and ever and ever. Some of your high school buddies are going to be friends with you forever. Some you'll never see again. Some of your college buddies, JUCO, four-year school, most of the time it's the JUCO guys, if you go that route. Those are going to be the most influential people in your life, because you're at a big transition when you get to college. You're on your own. Mom and dad's not washing your clothes, cooking your food for you. You got responsibilities now. You got to take care of yourself. There's a lot of things that happen. But the relationships that come along with that, the longer you play baseball, the more of those relationships you're going to have. And I believe James mentioned, but I played, after high school, I played 4 years of college, and then I ended up playing 8 years of professional baseball. I met a lot of people, not just all over the Southeast or all over the United States, but all over the world. I played in Mexico, played with a lot of guys that had never been to the United States. I played with a lot of guys from other countries while I played here in the United States, and the relationships that I made through that helped me become more successful in everyday life. People helping people is a very powerful thing. And I'm blessed to have the opportunity to be a part of this with James and Jerry and all of our coaches, because we all share the same idea. We want to see you guys succeed, and the relationships that we have built over the years provide a network system that makes that possible. We know people that have the power of the pen. But we can't do it for you. We can only put you in a position to succeed. We can set you up for success, but we can't do it for you. If you're the guy that's leaving the hotel before you come here to go get extra swings, you're probably going to have an opportunity to play after college. Not just because maybe you're a good baseball player, but because of what's inside. What's inside you that drives you to become better. It can't go unnoticed. So what happens is, anybody that sees that talks about it. Well, if I'm talking about it to a college coach, that college coach is now interested. Now, he may never go any further than that, but I've got his attention. He's listening now. Because he knows that there's a small percentage of people that are willing to put that kind of effort in without even being asked. So, again, like I said, what's your why? Baseball is going to transform your life if you let it. And the harder you work at it, the better things are going to be for you in regards to trying to become successful along the way. The things you're going to learn, the disciplines, the camaraderie, the respect, all those things play into the real world in everyday life, regardless what profession you take. So what is Global Scouting Bureau? What is United Baseball Organization? What is Showcase Series? Those are the tournaments, if you're unfamiliar. Well, Global Scouting Bureau, which James Gamble started back in 1998, was a professional player advancement company. Still is. And it still works. But with the amateur athlete, it doesn't work the same way as it does with a professional athlete. So how do we help you guys? Well, James came up with a pretty good model that works. And it gets better every year because we're no different than what we're telling you to do. We're getting better every year at what we do. But United Baseball Organization is the amateur side of Global Scouting Bureau, where we build teams, and it allows us the opportunity to go out and recruit players. We go recruit guys, and we talk to the high school coaches. Tell me who you like. What are the guys you like? Who should I be looking at? Who should I pay attention to? They're going to talk about the guys they like. What are you doing to make your high school coach like you? Think about that. It is your job to make him like you. It's not his job to like you. Showcase Series. It's a tournament company. A lot of teams play in them. Our teams play in them. Our teams don't play outside of that except for when we select the national team, which is essentially an all-star team, where we pick guys from all of our teams throughout the Southeast in an age group based on their positions. We nominate them, and this will happen after this weekend. We'll reach out to guys and we'll send them to the national event. But how does everything work? Well, we pay attention to what's happening in the industry. And most people believe that travel baseball is meant to be play for the best team. That's the only way you're going to get recruited. They got really cool jerseys. Johnny signed with Vanderbilt. He played for that team. So if I play for that team, I'm going to go to Vandy. It doesn't work that way. If you're as good as him, you can play wherever you want. You're going to go to Vandy, or you're going to get the opportunity because you're good enough. If you're not good enough, it doesn't matter what team you played for, how cool the bat was, or your buddies, or what kind of spikes you're wearing. None of that matters. Your ability matters. Your work ethic, your heart, and your grades, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But essentially, what all of this is, the Global Scouting Bureau, United Baseball Organization, Showcase Series, it's a player advancement company. All of it is. It just allows us the opportunity to control and streamline your opportunities. It gives us an opportunity to put you in a position where if you have a good day in front of the right person, it could change your life. So another question I want to ask you is, are you passionate? Are you committed? What is the definition of passion? Definition of passion: stronger, barely controllable emotion, an intense desire or enthusiasm for something. So that tells me if you're passionate about something, you're willing to suffer in order to see it through. And if you're passionate enough to see something through, you're more than likely going to succeed. You might fail 999 times, but then on that 1,000th time, you finally succeeded. And man, I'm telling you how that feels, because I've failed at a lot of things 999 times, and when I succeeded at that 1,000th time, I forgot about all the 999 times. All that did was prove to myself that I can do it, and that it wasn't that hard. It was really hard the first 999 times, but it wasn't after that. It was pretty easy. So what is a recruitable athlete? Well, you got to be athletic. You got to be able to play the sport, right? Regardless what sport it is, but since we're here talking about baseball, you got to have the tools. At least one of them that Jerry was talking about. You got to have something that somebody likes. Well, every single one of you here has something that somebody likes, or you wouldn't be here. Because we literally go out and recruit players. Networking, maybe I didn't see you, but maybe Austin Wilson saw you, or Malcolm Orgeron, or James, or Jerry, or a lot of our guys. You know, maybe they saw you, and we talked about it. We invited you. You talked to your family about it. It made sense. Now you're here. Now I will tell you that what we do is not for everybody. Somebody here tonight is not going to have a good experience this summer. They thought it was going to be something else. We're very transparent of what we do. It's not about winning a baseball game. It's about winning at life. We win when you advance. Whether it was advancing from JV to varsity, or varsity to pro ball, or college ball, or from college ball to pro ball. That's when we win. And man, it feels good for us to see you advance and succeed. But a recruitable athlete's not just about athletic ability. If you want to go play college baseball, you better have the grades. Anytime I talk to a college coach and I tell him I got a guy that I think he needs to see, and he sees the player and he likes the player, the first question he's going to ask is, well, what's his grades like? What kind of teammate is he? Does he have extracurricular activities off the field where he does negative things? Or is he involved in organizations that are productive? All those things come into play. Yes, you got to be a good baseball player, but you need a lot of those other things. In the recruiting process, well, I've dealt with it firsthand as a college coach. Jerry's dealt with it. James deals with it. A lot of our coaches have dealt with it. It's changing, and it's changing very fast. Starting with COVID, right before COVID hit, I left coaching college baseball. And it's almost night and day different with how things are recruiting, or how coaches are recruiting now. And in the past 2 years, it's changed even more drastically. What you guys believe recruiting to be is not true. What you see on social media is not true. If you go and you're posting your pull down of throwing 92, or you're ranked number 3 in perfect game. Yeah, that's cool. It does kind of help, but it's a skewed system, and a lot of the things that you hear on social media is partial truths at best. The truth of what's happening in recruiting is you got to be good enough, and you got to get in front of the right person. And sometimes it's really hard to get in front of the right person because college coaches aren't going to a lot of high school games. They're not. They're going to see players in bulk. Well, when are they going to be able to do that? They're not doing it in the spring during your high school season. Why? Because they have a season going on right now too, or during the spring. So when are they going to see you? Their season just ended too. Most colleges, a few of them are still playing, but as soon as they're over, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to get on the recruiting trail. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to tournaments. Who are they going to talk to about which tournaments they should go to? Maybe they call me, maybe they call James, maybe they call Jerry. They're going to use their network system. Call people. Find out about players. Well, how are we going to give them the answer to that? You're looking at it. United Baseball Organization. We get a chance to get some baseline skill testing out here tomorrow. That's going to give us a pretty good idea, which we already have an idea because we've seen most of you guys. but it's going to give us a great opportunity to establish some baseline metrics. Your arm velo, your exit velo, your 60 time foot speed, a lot of those things. And we're going to send that stuff back out to you guys for you to have. You can look at it and see, well, how do I match up with everybody else in my age? 16U, 18U. It gives you a good gauge on what's happening and where you stand and how much you need to work. If you're the top ranked person in our organization at your position, arm velo, whatever it is, that's great. Guess what? Everybody that was below you is chasing you. And they will pass you if you don't keep working hard. One other thing that makes you a recruitable athlete is being a good teammate. Let's find out what happens this summer. Are you going to be a good teammate, or are you trying to win? And that's the most important part. Being a good teammate goes a long way, and you'll find out. Be a good teammate and see how people respond to you. Be a bad teammate, see how people respond to you. A lot of people think, well, if I hit 350 in high school, I'm probably going to college. Stats really don't matter in high school. They do and they don't. If you hit 400 with 20 bombs and stole 20 bases with 40 doubles, yeah, that matters. Or if you went 10-0 as a pitcher with 150 strikeouts, yeah, that matters. And only 10 walks. Yeah, that matters, but that's the extreme. What most people are doing in high school is putting up good high school numbers. But a college coach, they don't want good high school numbers because, and everybody knows this is the truth, you go out and play your full season, as a hitter, how many pitchers did you face that'll be playing college baseball next year? Probably a pretty low percentage. And the same thing with pitchers. How many guys in that lineup that you faced and beat, how many of those guys are going to play college baseball? It's going to be less than half. It's definitely less than half unless you play, the University of South Walton over there in Florida that's got, a minor league pitching staff. That's a little bit different. But to the point is, college coaches go, well, yeah, he should hit 300 in high school if he's good enough to come play college. If he doesn't, he's not going to hit 100 in college because he's going to see everybody high school's number one once he gets to college. Everybody's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the lineup that you face on good high school teams is the entire lineup in college. It's going to get tougher. The game speeds up. What happens with the recruiting process? How does it start? How does it end? Most people think, I had a good game at this tournament next weekend, and college coach was there, so I'm going to sign. A lot of times you see that on social media, you think that's what's happening. It's not what's happening. There's a process to it. Yeah, you may have been identified at that tournament. College coach saw you, I like that guy, starts following you. But it's a process. And even if he offers you, there's still a process because now you got to make a decision. Is that where I want to go? You got to start weighing your options. You got to think about where the college is and what kind of scholarship is it, what all it covers. It becomes financial. There's a lot of decisions that has to be made. It's not an overnight thing. Most people think that, hey, the guy saw me, he liked me, he offered me, I signed the next day, and that was the end of the story. There's a lot more that goes into it. It's a long process. And I can tell you right now, regardless of what college coach you talk to, that says, well, I'm not looking for a catcher this year. I'm not recruiting a catcher. As soon as their season ends and they have their exit meetings, their catcher may tell them that, I decided I'm going to jump in the portal, go somewhere else. That coach didn't know that. Or the coach thought that the catcher's grades were great. The player kept telling him they were good. Next thing you know, he's under a 2.0, didn't pass enough credit hours. He's not eligible. Just lost him. New scholarship. Just popped up. Just freed up a scholarship. So now I need a catcher, and I need one now. I don't have all season to go recruit a catcher and go look at 100 of them. They're on the phone. Who are they calling? They're calling people like me, not just me or James, but people with other companies that are involved in this industry. They're calling their network system, and that's what they're doing. Who do I need to see? Who do you know? Who's available? That's how it really works. They find out who they need to go see. They go see them, and they make a decision. Yes, I like them. No, I don't. I move on. Simple as that. What to expect this summer. And again, like I said, apologies, but I had to write notes on here. I've tried it in the past, and I'll just get on a tangent and keep on talking about something baseball related. I want to talk about exactly what to expect this summer. The tournament formats for this summer. You can pretty much expect to play 1 game Friday, 2 games Saturday, with the if game on Sunday. That's typically the format. If you make the championship game on Sunday, you'll play Sunday afternoon. Now there's times where you play 1 game Friday, 1 game Saturday, 1 game Sunday, with that same if game Sunday afternoon, and sometimes it's 2 Friday, 1 Saturday. But typically it's going to be 1 Friday, 2 Saturday, with the if game on Sunday. So be prepared for that. What else to expect? Well, expect to play. All of our coaches know that, hey, yeah, we're going to try to win, but we're not going to try to win at the expense of Johnny throwing 100 pitches in a summer game. You get your work in as a starting pitcher. Once you get to around 60 pitches or so, you're done. You can go tell the coach, yeah, hey, I feel good. I can throw another 3 innings. You're done. We got another guy that's ready to go. If we lose because of it, because you're a better pitcher, we know if we kept you in, we're probably going to shut the team down and we're going to win that game. But again, it's not about winning. We want, hey, you did your job, you got your work, you look good today. Now it's somebody else's turn. We're going to rotate players. Yeah. You tell me, hey, coach, I'm a middle infielder, right-handed pitcher. All right, good. That tells me you can pretty much play everywhere on a baseball field, and you should. Play every position you can, because you never know what that college needs. Maybe you desire to go to a certain college, but they don't need a middle infielder. Well, they always need a pitcher, but maybe they don't need a middle infielder. I bet $100 it says that every middle infielder out here can go out and play center field, left field, right field, and be pretty good at it. And think about that. Play every position you're athletically capable of. Now's the time to do it. Play every position this summer, because your high school team probably needs you at shortstop or second base, and that's the only position you're going to play because you make the team better. Doesn't matter with us. Every single one of you guys are going to make the team better because you're trying, and everybody should be on the same page. This is the time to do it this summer. Play every position you can. Make sure your coaches know what positions you can't play. And then that coach is going to decide, is that true, or is he just saying that because he doesn't want to play? He wants to play shortstop every game. We want you guys to rotate, because if the team has Derek Jeter and you want to play shortstop, they're not going to recruit you. They got Derek Jeter. They don't need you. See what I'm saying? Coaches are going to put the wrong guy in to pitch, and we're going to lose a game because of it. Don't forget, it's not about winning a weekend tournament and taking that banner picture, posting on social media. We win when you advance. We don't keep stats as an organization. Like I said, I don't think the high school stats are extremely valuable. There is value, but summer stats for sure are not very valuable. It's your ability. That's what they want to see. Not did you hit 350 for your summer team. And speaking of the stats, we would like for, if parents, guys, if you want to keep the stats, by all means, get with the coach and say, hey, I'll keep Game Changer. But you're going to find out it's pretty tough when guys are rotating positions all the time. You're going to find it pretty tough. But if you're willing to step up for that, we would love to have you volunteer for that. I promise you, every single coach over there would. One last thing I want to talk about is the summer versus the fall. We work year-round in baseball. The summer is way different than the fall. The fall, you're playing baseball for slightly different reasons. The summer, you're playing for, obviously, the reps, the development, but primarily the exposure, especially for the older guys. Because like I said, college coaches are out and about. They're going to see guys, especially in the summers. Not so much any other time of the year. They still get out, but they do more communicating and networking than anything else. We, United Baseball, we have tournament teams just like in the summer, except for in the fall, we only play Saturday, Sunday. You guys are in school at that point. A lot of you guys are multi-sport athletes, so maybe you don't do the fall. But if you can, it will benefit you. We have fall leagues that are meant to be more developmental, meaning, hey, you do play multiple sports, well, hey, guess what? We only play one day for 5 weeks. It's on a Sunday or Saturday. You get to come out, get your reps in, get to see some live, or get live at-bats, throw to hitters, work on some of the things that you need to work on because you're trying to go from JV to varsity, right? So that's one of the things that can help you, is being a part of our fall leagues, and some of you guys have. The other option that we have are scout teams. And we call them scout teams because it's popularized, but at the end of the day, it's what we do to get specific players in front of college coaches in the fall. And so we design a program where we schedule with junior college coaches, sometimes four-year schools, and we tell them, hey, we have a scout team we want to bring out. It's mostly unsigned seniors, but we do have some juniors that have some ability. And they'll play on the fall scout team. We'll go scrimmage college teams, and I promise you that's the highest percentage option to get recruited that we do, because you're scrimmaging against current college baseball players. That college coach gets an opportunity to look at you and see if you're just as good as what they already have. If you're just as good as what they already have, they got a feeling that you're going to be a little bit better than what they already have by the time you get there. That's what they want. No college coach wants what they already have. They want better. They want to have a better player. That's how you get better. You should want to be better tomorrow than you were today. Talked about that last year. We're always striving one day at a time. Just be better than you were yesterday. Simple as that. If you can do that, you're going to be successful. And the last thing I want to touch on, guys, is, I've told my story in the past. James has told his story. But we actually wrote a book called Rich Athlete, Poor Athlete. And the reason we did that was because of what we're involved in and our experiences directly related to what you guys are going to experience throughout your career, chasing a dream. Chasing a dream to play baseball at the highest level you can. Well, we talk about some of that stuff and how to take what's happening in your life in baseball, on the baseball field, in the classroom, summer job, at the house, with the family, everything that you do, we talk about it in here. And how you can take what you're learning in baseball and apply it to your life to become more successful. And there's a quote on the back of this book that I wanted to read. And then I'm going to pass this mic off to James again. But one of the things that we wanted to grab somebody's attention on the back of the book says, in the modern world, most people are looking for the shortcut to success. However, overnight success simply does not exist. Often these shortcuts end up making the path to success even tougher. Due diligence is one of the most important factors in the path of success. However, too much due diligence can turn into analysis paralysis and no action is taken. That's the worst thing that you can do, is just not take action. Go out here and make a mistake. That's fine. You'll learn from it. If you don't take action and make that mistake, you're just delaying that. You're delaying that mistake to a later date because you're going to make it. Nobody's perfect. You're going to make it out here. If you want to be successful, then you need to be obsessed with your goal. Anything worthwhile requires a long period of hard work with many failures along the way. Nothing worthwhile is achieved easily. Nothing. And guys, like I said, it's a blessing for me to be out here and speak to you guys. I wish the best for you guys this summer. I want you to play hard, work hard. Try to stay injury-free. Don't always try to push through it. All right? I'm not saying, my fingernail hurts, so I'm not going to play this game. I'm just saying it gets hot on these turf fields. It's going to be hot tomorrow. Somebody bring me a water because I'll be out here all day. Please, come ask me questions, players. Come talk to me. Come talk to your coaches. Ask them. Ask them. There is no wrong question. Ask questions. That's how you learn. The more you learn, the easier everything becomes. And again, like I said, thank you guys. Enjoy the weekend.
All right, guys, I'm probably going to get to the hard part where you guys stop liking our organization in just a second. Who's a 2025 graduate here? Do they have any here? Any unsigned players? Okay, I'm going to get Malcolm Osier on. He's at the tip of our spear. That's what he does for us. Malcolm, if you could, walk on out here. I'm actually going to want you to take them and their parents under that little mezzanine area. And anything that I was going to say, you already know it. So take them and their families, and I want to make sure you guys understand the process that we're going to go through. We've been perfect for 3 years. That means every single athlete that wanted to advance did, 100%. Okay? We're not going to stop working for you. Where Jerry was talking about earlier was how the change came. And for me, I'm going to start a little bit about myself, and then I'll go into some things. I'm going to bounce around. I'm going to openly admit I'm going to bounce all over. For me, I was that kid that was just like you. If you notice, I'm not 6'4". I never was 6'4", left-handed through 95, but I had that dream. I had that bug. My dad worked in the oil field. Never was a wealthy man. But see, I love this game. And so I committed to it. People made fun of me. Even whenever I was a freshman in high school, I would say, one day I'm going to play professional baseball, and everybody would laugh because I was 5'2". But I worked. Not only there, I was fortunate to have parents that were, well, I had to make straight A's or I couldn't play. So I made straight A's. That was the bar. Then I had to work. If I wanted to get a new bat, there was a lawnmower. Go cut grass. So I learned how to value things. By the time I did start and was playing high school varsity baseball, I was cutting yards. Back then we could drive at 15. I bought my first truck, okay, because my dad made me cut grass and I got to keep the money, get a bank account. And then when the time came, I didn't have to go to mom and dad. I went and got my first Isuzu pump. Yeah, it was really fast. It cost $1,500. Okay? But then my friends didn't have spending money. So I hired them and got more yards. And then what happened is it was hot during the summer and maybe my friends didn't want to go to work. And my dad said, you bit it off, you got to eat it. So I would cut grass at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, take a lunch break, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, then go to the baseball field. And by this time, I'm probably 5'7". And I would see a 6'3" guy leaning on the fence saying, Mom, get me a Gatorade, it's hot. Let me just tell you, I already knew I'd whoop him. He didn't know what hot was. See, my dad got me to work, and he created something inside of me. Okay, that something inside of me led me to play collegiately, professionally, leave Major League Baseball, start a contract scout company in 1998. We were the first one to do it. I've worked with all 30 Major League teams, 23 different countries. We work in multiple sports. Oh, we help players. I'm not shy about saying we are the best at advancing athletes. See, the problem is, though, at times, parents, you guys, which all have jobs, you probably work 40, 50, 60 hours. You get home from work, and you open up that phone, and somewhere on Facebook, somebody had some wisdom, and now you know more. Even though you worked 40 hours in your skill or specialty, I've been doing this for 27 years, but you know more than I do, more than these coaches do. And the reason I know that, and I'm getting on parents, is I'm starting to see parents at high school games go out on the field to fight with the coach because the kid didn't play. Really? Because now all these parents are experts in the sport because we all played Little League. But if I ask you about the Rule 5 draft, anybody want to speak up? You want to talk about it? You want to talk about the portal? When does it open? When does it close? What's new roster requirements? Are they cutting players? How do they work it? I promise you, it's not going to be in those cliff notes you find on social media by Big Johnny who's just typing on his, his X account. You better have somebody that knows the answers or knows how to get the right answers. Players, y'all all look out the window and say, I'm better than Johnny, so therefore I should have signed. Really? Do you know everything about Johnny? What's his GPA? What's his work ethic? That coach likes him. How many times do I hear parents come to me and they want to say, well, the coach, it's every one of your jobs to make your coach like you. It is not his job. It's your job. I played for a lot of coaches. They didn't all start off just loving me. I had to earn that. So I'm not a huge fan of all the changes in the industry, but I know a lot about it. In fact, about 5 years, published a book called It's My Time, made it to the top 10. It's all about recruiting. Following year, had to rewrite it because they changed the rules. They called again, and well, I'm just tired of writing over it because they changed the rules every 3 months. Okay, so you guys actually have all the leverage. Okay, to go to college, you have all the leverage. But it's everything that you, the players, can't control. But a lot of times, I don't think the problem is the player. I'll give you the example. Every kid I meet, anybody who already knows me knows the first question I ask a player is, how are you doing in school? Most of the time they say good. I then ask them to define good. Well, I make all A's and a B in math. In front of their parents, I'll ask them, if you work really, really hard, just be honest, do you think you could bring the B to an A? 100% of the time, they say yes. Okay, what happens is players, young men, they find your threshold of acceptance because it's good enough for you when you go to work to say, my son made the dean's list, the honor roll, what have you. They're living up to what you guys said rather than going all in, 100%. If I meet a kid and he tells me I make all C's but I give 100%, I love him. I give him a hug. But when I meet that kid that makes all A's and a B because he's a little lazy, you don't think he carries that laziness over? I know he does. I don't have kids of my own. I have nephews. I'm now married and I have kids, but I should say they're home. My wife's right over there. She works with us now. But it's a little bit different. I brought one of my nephews who ended up being a Division I weekend starter. But when he was 16 years old, and I know they're streaming it, so I'm going to get a phone call and people are going to get mad. His name is Bailey Holstein. At 16 years old, the driving was 16, not 15 like us old people. Well, his mom had gotten in the Jeep. But his grades weren't real good. And they found something in his room that he had, maybe by hanging out with the wrong people. It's kind of a little clip thing. I'll let y'all figure that out. His grades weren't real good. So I told my sister, I can change things. But I got a rule. If he comes, y'all can't come get him. It's my way. Again, same two parents. All right, love my sister to death. I'm making sure she knows that. Well, I went and picked him up. They agreed. And right when I picked him up, he got in my truck, and we're going back 10 years or more. I was getting ready to start talking to him, and he put these things on his head. I think they were called beats. I thought, well, I pulled over on the side of the interstate, and my nephew was an early bloomer, so he was about 6'3", about 220. Well, when I pulled over on the side of the interstate and opened my door, he turned white as a ghost. So I knew right there, I had him. Okay, he's just big, he's still young. So I started telling him the rules. Rule 1, you give me your phone at 9 o'clock every night. Rule 2, we leave at 7 a.m. in the morning. Rule 3, I like the grass the height it is right now. Rule 4, I'm giving you a book. You have to read it. If I ask you questions and you cannot answer it, we're going to turn the car around. You're not going to training. You're not going to baseball. You're going to read the book. That book was called The Compound Effect. I really, really believe in it. I think everybody should read it. Well, the first day that we get there, everything's fine. He walks down the hall and he says, Uncle James, got a problem. There's no bed in my room. And I know. We start at the bottom. You see, your mama loves you. She bought you that truck, but you didn't earn it. We're going to learn how to earn things. The next morning, because he's 16 years old, I told him we're leaving at 7. He woke up at 6:58. It's normal. And he walked out, and I said, let's go. And he said, I didn't eat. You're going to be hungry. Because we leave at 7. Okay? 2 days later, I asked him, I thought I told you I like the grass a certain height. I said, yes, sir. And I went, well, don't cut itself. Well, you have a yard guy. You're my yard guy. And every time he would do jobs, I would take money and put it aside. It was earned money. Every time he wouldn't read, we'd turn back around. Okay, the message to that book was small, smart choices done repeatedly over time equal drastic results. Well, it took about 3 to 4 weeks, and there started to be a change. That change was enough that he came to me and said, Uncle James, can I keep this book and give it to my dad? You see, I don't do parents. Okay, they're not moldable. They're set in their ways. They know too much. Well, my nephew went on to be an academic and athletic scholarship. He was a weekend starter at UNO. Now he's married, has kids, successful, lives life. But when he went home, it changed him so much, my sister would call. He said, what have you done? He cleans his room. He cleans his plate. Yeah, he's becoming an adult. He's becoming accountable and responsible, taking responsibilities for his actions. He got his life in order. He got his body in shape. He became what he dreamed of. The point that I'm saying is, you guys all have a dream, right? And that's great. I'm a guy who tells parents all the time, don't tell your kids not to dream, because my dad didn't ever really believe in my dream, right? He would say, when's he going to get over this dream? Because he wanted me to be successful in life. My dad's been dead for over 20 years. I promise you, I think he would look down and say, I'm doing pretty good. Everything that I probably shouldn't do, because I wasn't born special, has been through hard work, and I failed a lot. Starting a minor league team, you can go look it up. You don't have to believe what I'm telling you. I'm going to use real names, but I sold the team to Quint Studer. He's in healthcare. It's the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. It wasn't the only team, but when I went in to start it, there was nobody. There was me. They said it couldn't work. I had enough money to really operate the team for about a month. So I knew I was going to start it and flip it. And I did. Okay, I was one of the youngest commissioners in baseball history. I played professionally. I scouted with the Red Sox, worked with Oakland. I've got a really good background. I'm smarter than I look, right? And see, the problem with the kids is that at times their parents tell them what they can't be, or their community tells them what they can't be, because they don't look like something. And I'm a believer, if you just get up and work on what you can control each and every day to be the best that you can be, you'll become successful. Not tomorrow, over time. You want to lose 20 pounds? It's doable. Gain 20 pounds? Doable. Everything's doable. Want to make $1 million? Doable. You just got to have the willpower. But it takes a lot. Okay? I was 51 whenever I got married. I sacrificed a lot. I'm very fortunate that I have really good coaches that are passionate about advancing athletes. Okay? That's our goal. Nick was touching on things about, it's not about winning. Okay, to me it's about W-H-E-N. Parents, when they say, now batting, number 27, and they say your son's last name at any college in America, you're going to be proud. See, for me, whenever we worked with Jack Crescent and the Knights, and we all have a good relationship, still do today, the difference was the ideology. A lot of people only wanted the player that could make them look good. I want every single player that has passion, that's willing to put in the work, and then watch. We will not let you down. But you got to do the work. Because to go to college, it takes 3 abilities: athletic, academic, and financial. It's different for every college, every family. But see, there's some of this that you guys, the players, can control. We happen to, and again, a lot of you guys are going to get mad. I actually think as a culture we're getting softer because the athletes don't like to train as much. We used to do midweek workouts, but I had more coaches showing up than players, right? So now we have to sit back and say, hey, players, it's not what you do in front of us. It's what you do when no coach is watching, right? You can get on your Instagram and go follow people and have fun, or why don't you find out about nutrition, proper sleep habits, how do I make the correct grades? I always challenge kids because when you do your best, if kids have a 4.0, 100% of colleges in America can recruit you. When it drops just 1 point, we've already taken out some of those colleges. You may not care. I want to keep all the doors open. Because in today's world, you can go where you want. Meaning, when you leave high school, you can go to college A, outperform it. The next year, go to college B, outperform it. The next year, college C, outperform it. There's not just a pathway that you guys believe that I need to have an Instagram post my junior year because, God forbid, I have any pressure on me. I want to commit early to say that I made it, that I'm going to a college, but you guys quit following. Half of the players that do that never play for that college. In fact, the real number was 75% of early commits don't play at the college they originally committed to. That's pretty big. So I don't worry about the early commit. I worry about the process that Nick talked about. Each and every day, continue to work to be the best you can be, right? On June 1st this year, you're going to have the portal open up in college. More than 3,000 athletes are going to jump into it. So even if I called Coach Zach, which is around here, he's right over there, I talked to him earlier, they can say today they're out of money and not looking for players. But a week from now, everything can change. And he knows it. He's been in junior college. That player sits in front of a coach and says, hey man, I love to hear, Coach, I'm coming back. And on June 1st, he doesn't even look into Coach's eyes. He sends a text to compliance. Now he's in the portal. He's a free agent again, looking for his best interest. One of the problems I have for it is everybody's starting to believe, let me go see if the grass is greener somewhere else rather than planting my feet and becoming. Right? What does that actually do for you later on, parents? When your kid believes I can go somewhere else. Well, he meets his girlfriend, he marries her, does the right thing, falls madly in love, has a child with that beautiful woman, which gains, let's say, 20 pounds. You see, after she has that child, things have changed in her body. He was part of it, but she may not look the way she did before. But your son now has been conditioned to the grass is greener. So what's he do? He goes to that marriage portal. I think we lead the world in that, don't we? Okay, so my whole thing is, if you don't think we can't teach from this sport, you're crazy. And parents, if you don't think that your kids are looking at you, you're crazy. Dad, when you come to the ballpark and you're a butt, okay, your son then thinks that's acceptable behavior. I mean, I don't want to put Zach on the job, but I've never had a coach call me and say, hey, I'm looking for a guy who can play, and his dad's just a prick. Okay? They don't want it. It's annoying. Because you want what's best for your kid. I get it. That's a bad call. Well, come umpire. Call me. I can get you a job. Right? And if you know more than all the coaches, come down. I will hire you. Otherwise, how about be a parent? I don't even like to say fan. It's short for fanatical. Be a parent. Love your kid. He's not going to go 5 for 3. It will not happen. Players, stop trying to be perfect. About 3 or 4 years ago, I took Jerry Martinez. We all got in the car. We went out to Arizona, went and watched Mike Trout, spring training, went 0 for 6, 4 Ks. See, that's the whole story right there. And everybody's thinking, what's that got to do? Well, if Mike Trout can strike out 4 times, he's one of the best players in baseball, you don't think your kid can? Sure he's got it. What I ask you to do is make your kids earn something. Okay? Don't pat them, don't cushion them. See, they're starting to believe that the certain bat makes them a hitter. That's not true. Because Usain Bolt is the world's fastest man. I bought Puma. I still ain't fast. Okay? You have to learn you're the tool. It ain't the bat, it ain't the glove. I don't care if it's 300, 500, what word they write on it. It ain't the bat. Because, see, we also travel internationally. Those Latin players we go and watch, sometimes they're 13 years old, but they pick up this old wooden bat and boy, they can hit. Because if you can hit, you can hit. Right? So instead of making excuses, how about learn how to hit? How about understand you're going to get screwed on a call? Go back to the dugout. It happens. It's baseball. Parent, relax. It's going to happen. It'll balance out. Your son's going to learn. Okay, he's going to fail. But what happens, and I see a lot, is he swings a bad pitch. Every kid out here already knows if they swing a pitch over their head, it's bad. We don't need the coach to holler at him. I don't need his dad to holler at him. His dad's friend who drinks with him, who thinks now because we're friends, I can get on Johnny too. Okay, because now we put so much negative onto that kid. What if we start going around watching you do your job? How would that be? I fail every day. If you don't believe, ask my wife. She thinks I fail every day at a lot of things. Y'all do too. My whole thing is I want them to fail. The only way to succeed is through failure. I want the shortstop to attack the ball. And if he threw it away, oh well. Because he's going to do it enough that he becomes very good. Everybody knows the Michael Jordan stories. He got cut. Let's look at the Wayne Gretzky's, look at the Tom Brady's. None of this is new, but everybody's looking for a fast way. Doesn't exist. Hard work is the way. A routine is a way. I'll quit preaching too much, but I'm going to jump onto our processes. Number one, I want to thank the people that did send in, the missing act. The reason why we do that is we try to have our teams with approximately 14 players, 2 catchers, 3 middle infielders, 3 corner infield, 4 outfielders, and 8 guys that pitch. And I don't mean little Johnny pitched when he was 9. I mean guys that can go out on the mound, throw it around this thing right here, and give everybody a chance to play baseball. 8 guys on each team. Because if we play 3 to 4 games, we're going to need 8 pitchers. We are not going to make our reputations based on the success of your kids. All of these coaches, some of them play Major League Baseball, minor league baseball. They're really successful coaches with a lot of knowledge. We're not going to build our background based on your son's ability. We're here to give, right? So like Nick said, when your son throws 60 pitches, he can have a no-hitter. We're going to pull it. His workload is over. High five. Good job. Next guy, it's your turn. If we lose, guess what? We play tomorrow. Last year, the Dodgers won the World Series. They're the best, right? They lost 60-plus games. But see, we're so afraid of losing, so afraid of failing. But we put missing at United Baseball because if you look in that dugout, every one of them is male. Parents, I see a lot of males here, we tend to forget stuff. So when your son goes up to him and says, I'm not going to be there next weekend, hey, that's awesome. But he forgets. And then next Friday comes, and instead of having 2 catchers, you only have 1. Now, that catcher, he might have to catch a doubleheader in 105 degrees heat. And see, I don't want to put kids in harm's way. So I want to make sure, if you send in an email, Coach doesn't, he's not the only one that knows. Now all of us know. We get to make sure we can supplement for who's not there. I think it's just a little respect, so I hold the parents accountable. At least be respectful enough to let us know that you're not going to be there. And I don't mean Thursday night. By Thursday night, you done made me mad. Because if you schedule a vacation on Thursday night, no. You let us know Monday or Tuesday so we have time to get somebody to take your son's slack. And it's not just about your son. When we say united, we all have something in common. Okay? The love of baseball. Okay, we're united. It's the one thing that doesn't separate. I don't get into politics, religion, sexuality, don't care. But if you like baseball, you can travel this world, or sports in general. Doesn't matter what culture, man, it unites. Right? So that's why we were called United. But I need you guys to do your part as parents. Injury. You also think your sons come out and tell us every ailment they have. So maybe he's playing summer ball with his high school team and he threw 80 pitches on Thursday. We kind of need to know this, right? Because we don't want our coaches to put kids in harm's way. We need parents' involvement, right? So little things like that, that's what it's about. If you ask me today who's on our national team, you can bring it out. It's a blank sheet of paper. We just don't do things the same way. You have to earn it. Right? There's good players. A lot of you we know, or guys have went out and seen you. They're going to recommend, but we're going to start looking. If you don't show up 2 weekends, you're going to get an X by your name. You didn't earn it. Because again, I no longer care about did this team win this many games. A lot of organizations do. They sell that. I care about each and every player. I don't think my mother and father loved me less because I played at UL Lafayette than if I would have played at LSU. Whenever I signed as a free agent, rather than have been a 5th, 6th, 7th round draft choice, they didn't say, oh, dang it, man, he's 5'10". Let me trade him in. I wanted a lefty at 6'3". And I know you parents feel the same way about your kids. So a lot of the BS that people bring to us, I just call them out on it. Okay? I want your son to be his best. I would settle for nothing less. Excuses don't work. Again, when I'm not here, talk to my wife, talk to the people that work with me. They will tell you I'm very tough because I expect perfection, knowing we're going to fail. I want your kids to go all in. Players, I want you to go all in. Make mistakes. But when you do it, own it. Don't say, well, the ump did it. The sun was in my eyes. No, I wasn't ready. I failed. Let me have another opportunity. Put me back out there. You want me to play first? I'll play first. Oh, by the way, I was a shortstop that ended up pitching professionally. I played, and in pro ball, I think I had 8 at-bats, but I played outfield and second base because when you learn this game and you're athletic, you can play anywhere. Right? So all the parents that send in on the registration that, and I'll pick on a few things, My son is a shortstop, second baseman. Well, tomorrow, that's why we get baseline information. When your son runs an 8-2 60-yard dash, I can assure you he's not a middle infielder. Okay? I assure you. So I'm going to be the guy that says, your son needs to lose 20 pounds and learn how to run, or they're going to tell him to go to shortstop, take a left, we're going to call it left field, he can't run. And you have to have good hands and feet to play in the middle infield. It's a fact. All right? So yes, we're looking at it when you guys send it in, but at times we think that maybe your fingers are chubby on the phone. I get that. Because at times I see a kid, 6'4", 235, please give me a medium jersey. Guys, I'm 5'10", 180. I wear an extra large. Okay? But we're going to be so worried about, is this jersey, is this... That's why we don't do pants. These things, honestly, they'll tell you, I don't care. Because I promise you, who I am is not going to be defined by this shirt made out of something with some cotton, whatever. Okay, it will not define me. And every jersey I put on didn't matter. And I know coaches get mad. I played for the team because I prepared myself as an individual each and every day. And I do believe that is the way. I'm going to not talk too much longer, but I'm going to tell a few more stories. Number one, we had a player, and I like to use him as an example because it was one of the first years I got involved with the amateur side. I was at a baseball field, saw a left-handed pitcher throwing in the outfield. Liked the mechanics of it. I went and asked the coach who he was, and he said, don't worry about him, look at the shortstop. Thank you, coach. What is the name of the kid in the outfield? Well, you really need to focus on the shortstop. The first baseman can play. And I went, awesome. Everybody's going to tell me how to do my job. I like some dude in the outfield, and I don't know who it is. And he said, his name's A-Bear. So I was in South Louisiana. I walked behind home plate, and I said, hey, anybody here a parent of A-Bear? And about 9 guys raised their hand. And I went, oh, boy. All right, the lefty, what happened to be his name was Evan A-Bear. He went to Laurelville. And I'm going to fast forward through his story. Evan was the MVP of state for Laurelville High School, went on to play at University of Arizona the year after they were the #1 team in the country, won the World Series. They actually flew into Baton Rouge Community College to watch him. His pathway to Arizona was not going play in Arizona, was not playing in Atlanta, it was not being ranked by anybody. It was his relentless work to become. And he became. Now, after playing in Arizona, he signs, and he played at West Florida, threw a no-hitter, went to Troy, signs a professional contract, and he calls me one day on the phone and says, hey, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL. Well, I knew Evan. He was almost like a son. It was funny. And then he hung up. And the following day, the team called me and said, Gringo quit. Gringo it was winter ball, and Gringo was the white guy, and he was in Columbia. And he had caught a plane and went home. And he joined the Navy. And I thought he was joking. And then Evan went to Buds and became a Navy SEAL. And he just got through. He's on SEAL Team 5. He just got back from deployment again, where he's out for all of us, protecting our freedoms. And I get chills when I see him because I remember him at your son's age, and he wanted to wear pinstripes and wanted to be a big leaguer. And he is a big leaguer. Okay? Each and every one of your kids can be a professional person. Each and every one of them. But if we consistently as adults run them down, coaches, same for you guys. If we run them down over and over, how are they going to succeed? Rather than accepting they're going to fail, we want them to get up again. When they make that C, let's work harder. When they make that B, let's work harder. Everyone here, I know I'm tough to reach, but I'm great at calling people back. Okay? During the weekends, I won't take your call, I promise. But on Monday through Friday, if I have to set up schedules, I will work with any of you and all of you to make sure that we're getting the most out of your kid. Things you don't want to discuss, I will. I will hold your son accountable. See, you guys have to tell them to brush their teeth and when to go to bed. I have a different position. They say they want to be the best in this sport. I need their action plan. If I say, players right now, who wants to play college baseball? Any players that are in our organization, if you want to play college baseball one day, raise your hand. Okay, I want you to see how many. Okay? There's a lot, like every one of them. Do you think it's possible for 100% of players that want to play? See, these hands just say, I want, but there needs to be action behind it. The reason I started off by thanking you guys is because you guys support your kid's dream. So I end with the fact that if your kid doesn't have the action, it's not a dream. Right? They don't want to get better. Dad, you can't force him. Mom, you can't make him. Oh, I paid for this, you're gonna. Okay, if he wants to be in band, let's get him a trumpet. Right? I want your kids to be successful. It's okay. Part of what we do is pushing your kids to where they decide I either want it and I will succeed at all costs, or I am done and I want out. I'm okay with both. Because I'm going to love your son if he's given 100%, and I know you guys will too. Or coaches are going to work their tail off, not just to win, but to try to learn your kids. Right? And they're going to learn you too. So little things we also tell you, we have a 24-hour rule. When a game is over, let's say you're really mad because your son did not play, which, by the way, we don't want to ever happen. I openly tell our coaches I want kids to be in every game. But let's say he was going to throw the 5th, 6th inning of the game, but in the bottom of the 4th, they'll score 8 runs and mercy rule them. Your son didn't play. We screwed you. But we didn't mean to. Because we had no idea we were going to score 4 runs in the 5th inning and not have that. So I want you to have an understanding of the game that we do make mistakes and we will. But our intent is not to not play your son. It's to give him a role. And also, when your son comes to you, because I'm a guy, I had parents, and a lot of parents will come to me and say, my son talks to me about everything. And my son said, I openly tell the story that when I was 16 years old, my wife has to forgive me, I went and parked my car in a sugarcane field with a girlfriend instead of going to the movie. I want y'all to think what I was trying to do. Do you think I went home and told my mom and dad that, by the way, I didn't go to the movie? I took my girlfriend, we went and parked in the cane field. And, no, I didn't tell them. If I did that, all you saints probably did similar things at some point. But see, we don't want to tell that, and I don't blame you. But you have to know they're going through the same thing. So when they come to you and say, well, the coach did, he's telling you part of a story, not always the truth. We want to be the organization of truth. For you, if we have to hurt your family, it is what it is. We want to be truthful to you. But at the end of the day, we're the guys that you want on your team fighting for your son to make sure he has opportunities. So I'll end it with, you saw what we did with the 2025s. We segregated them because they have, it's triaging on my part. Every one of them now, we have approximately 2 months. So I have to make sure they follow instructions, and every one of them will have opportunities. At the end of the summer, we will send you their success of here's the guy and where they're going, so you can follow and map it out. We're not going to fly in guys from California to take your son's spot and try to win a tournament. So we can say we're great. We don't need it. Other organizations will. Don't care. We're going to put out more players. If Malcolm was around, he would tell you, I think we've done 275 in the last 3 years. Take all the organizations you know, combine them together, add up their successes. Game over, guys. All right, that's the win. For us, when we advance your son, and he has to know that it's not always going to be LSU. You might have to go to a junior college, then a 4-year school, and then that dream school, and work the whole time and keep getting better. So the one thing we can do from this day forward, athletes, is understand what I can control is today doing all that I can do to be the best that I can be. Not just in baseball, the best son, the best brother, the best friend, the best human being I can be. And if you guys will commit to doing that, you're going to be successful, and we're going to be there to help you guys. Thank you guys for coming out, and we're going to get started tomorrow. If y'all anything y'all didn't know, at 9 o'clock in the morning, we're starting with what we call unrecruitables, because technically they can't talk to you. That's 16 and under. Basic skill testing is what we're getting. We're also not going to send it all over social media trying to rub it in your faces. We want you guys to know what your sons do run. Okay, here's where they're at. Here's what they do throw. Yes, I know dads are going to come and say, my son's been up to 90, and when we see it at 78, we know he left his velocity at the border crossing over from Louisiana or Alabama. But we're going to go ahead and measure it anyway. Then we put it out to all of you families, right? But don't worry, we're not sending it to every coach trying to embarrass your son. We're trying to let you know where he's at. And I will, again, if y'all need to call, you'll do it, or I did. It was It's My Time, was a book that I wrote years ago. I actually give you the times. You have a phone, a stopwatch. You don't need me. You can know. When your kid goes to a showcase, they're always going to remember who runs the fastest, throws the hardest, and hits the farthest. That's what they're going to know. They're not going to remember Pete Rose, who has more hits in Major League Baseball than anybody, because he don't run the fastest, hit the farthest. You know. They're not going to know Greg Maddux that can really, really pitch. They want the guy that throws the hardest. We're trying to make sure we give players an opportunity, and when you play, you become a gamer. When you're a gamer, you move up. If I was lying, you wouldn't have a 5'10" guy right here that was able to get a paycheck for 3 years as a pitcher that, you know, again, I'm nothing special. I'm nothing that you guys can't become. But my gift was elite work ethic and elite discipline. That's something each of you can have. Most of the guys here have more athleticism than me. Now I just say, I work with it. Right? I want y'all to be respectful to your coaches, get to know them. I know it's new for a lot of you guys. We all have notebooks at the end of the summer. It does take us a little while. We take all the notes that the coaches have. We try to put them together, good, bad, or otherwise, and kind of let you know where your son's at. Again, at times, I did not take politically correctness in college, and I have a couple of degrees. So I admit I am the guy that says, look, your son's fat. We got to get him to lose weight. And then the parents remind me that's rude. And I went, okay. If I don't say it that way, it doesn't sting enough, and he doesn't take it serious enough to actually make the commitment to lose the weight. So I'm not going to say he's husky. I'm going to tell him he's fat. I'm going to tell him he's skinny. Okay? Not everybody's going to do that, and I'm not trying to be mean or ugly. They did this to me. That's what motivated me. And I know it will to them. Out of love, I'm going to be strict. The same thing, some of my coaches can come out here and they will tell you, when they throw 75 pitches, I am on the phone with them saying, no, we don't. I don't care. Take out a towel, wave it, say we lost. Quit the game. Take the whole team. I do not want to injure your son for the sake of winning a tournament so that on Monday morning, you guys can say, well, my son's team went. They whooped up on this John Doe's team, and they're the best. Don't care. I want to teach a process and routine that your kids can take on their own, go develop, advance, and become what they dreamed of. So again, I thank you guys for coming. If you have questions, get with us. I'm sorry I talked so long. Young guys, we'll start at 9 o'clock. The 18U, the 17 and 18U, they're going to start at around 2 o'clock. And once you're done at 2 o'clock, younger guys, go have the day. Enjoy yourselves. Older guys will come in, we'll get it done. We'll play one game on Monday, just knocking the rust off, guys rotating, trying to just get them used to their teammates. And then next week we start the tournament circuit, and then we're going to get after it. So thank y'all very much for your time, and y'all have a good night.